The placard on Sukhbir Badal is a hymn from the Gurbani. It reads, "The true Guru, the primal being, is free of revenge and hate. He is God, the great giver. I am a sinner, you are my forgiver. That sinner who finds no protection anywhere, if he comes seeking your sanctuary, then he becomes immaculate and pure." Let's spend some time trying to make sense of what is at play here. Why are the Akalis accepting their faults? Is this genuine penance, spiritual, religious, political? Or is this just an attempt to try and win sympathy, given that the political fortunes of the Akali Dal have been on steep decline? Joining me on this broadcast, I want to welcome first Naresh Gujral, senior leader of the Shromani Akali Dal. We have Priyanka Kakkar, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. I have Professor Pramod Kumar, he's a well-known Punjabi political analyst. Sushant Sareen will give us the strategic affairs and security perspective, and I have Harmeet Shah Singh, who's a Sikh political analyst. Harmeet, I want to come to you first. Explain to our viewers what's really going on. It's very rare for politicians to admit they're at fault, for Sukhbir Badal to sit outside the Akal Takht, do this penance, for leaders to be cleaning toilets, doing seva. Are they genuinely remorseful, or are they just trying to win back sympathy which they've lost amongst Punjab society?
Well, there are two things to look at. First thing is that, as you mentioned, that it's very rare. It's rare, but it's not unprecedented. Gyani Zail Singh, as President of India, was held accountable by Sri Akal Takht Sahib, and so was Bhuta Singh as Home Minister. Then Chief Minister Surjit Singh Barnala was also held accountable for sending a police into Sri Darbar Sahib to flush out militants who had returned. Now, what makes this episode different is that this has happened under the full glare of social media cameras, and everyone has seen what has happened there. But as you rightly pointed out, that are these mere optics and euphoria that is being created? I'll take it with a pinch of salt, because yes, so far as the Sri Akal Takht Sahib is concerned and the Akali Dal is concerned, there seems to be a genuine effort to revive the Shromani Akali Dal, and in a way, Sri Akal Takht Sahib had moved in to negate Badal politics from 1977 to 2024. 1977 was the time when Prakash Singh Badal became Chief Minister, and a year later there was Nirankari Sikh confrontation in which 13 Sikhs were killed, and that kind of sowed the seed of militancy in Punjab. And all the wrongs that were done during militancy, in fact, gave rise to Badal again. So in a way, both of them were complementary to each other. One may accept it or reject it. Now, are these mere optics, or is this just a genuine attempt? The jury is still out.
Okay.
The ruling class, we have historically seen from Rome to Aurangzeb, they first bow before religion, they first bow before praise, before faith, which deserves some kind of measured praise, but then eventually they bounce back and control religion. So that's to be seen.
Okay, you're saying the jury is out. I want to listen to Pramod Kumar.
Yeah.
Because the Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, the Akal Takht, has worked in close concert with the Akali Dal and the Badal family in all these years. When the Akal Takht says we are taking the reins away from the Badal family and from the current Akali leadership, is that a genuine usurping of power from the Akalis who've gone astray, or is that just a temporary measure to try and restore the credibility of the Akali leadership, and leadership will ultimately be returned to them in the months and years to come?
Yeah, there are two aspects which are involved here. One, that it's not only the Akali Dal, there are fringe radical elements also which are very active. And related to this, there is a global diaspora background where a new currency these radicals have acquired, the example is Canada. So that new currency is also very active. Now, the Akali Dal historically can be, some people can say that they move away from Panthic agenda in 1997 and went in for more Punjabi holistic identity issues with Moga Declaration, where they asserted, along with the BJP, that we will build a society where any discrimination against Punjab will be considered as discrimination against Punjabis, not Sikhs. Any demands of Punjab shall be articulated as Punjab and Punjabi demands rather than Sikh demands. That, I think, was a very radical shift in politics of Punjab. And with years, now the Panthic agenda has dominated. Now that is the issue. It is for the Akali Dal to see whether they are able to moderate the challenge posed by the Panthic, because many people accuse them that they move away from the Panthic. The kind of charges which were imposed upon them were all Panthic in nature. And they're very interesting charges if you go through that. Of course, it is the duty of the Akal Takht, and historically they have even punished Maharaja Ranjit Singh. They said he should be flagged. Flagging should be done because he married some Muslim women or something. So therefore, I think that somewhere there is a tussle between the Panthic agenda and the non-Panthic, more syncretic Punjabi identity.
Okay.
Now it is a challenge for the Akali Dal to navigate between the two. Along with that, we have very strong, persistent psyche, which I call revenge psyche and glory addiction. There's a one section of society is totally imbued with this. They want to take revenge of something which happened, in the past. And also it gives them the glory, the whole question of martyrdom. They're part of the whole Sikh tradition. So this kind of, fringe elements wants to, have some kind of glory addiction.
I understand what you're saying. Priyanka Kakkar, the Punjab police and the AAP government have serious questions to answer. You heard what Bikram Majithia said. How is it that the superintendent of police locally is shaking hands with someone who very clearly has an extremely checkered track record? Narayan Singh Chora has a criminal background, has all manner of cases against him. If he comes in so close to a Z category security person with a 9mm pistol, you're raising questions about Amit Shah and Delhi police. Look at what's happening on your watch, ma'am.
Good evening to you and your viewers, Rahul Kavalji. Rahul Kavalji, I think credit where it's due. I don't think we should definitely praise the AAP government. We should definitely praise the Punjab police who were briefed in the morning. More than 250 police personnel are surrounding the Akal Takht at all times in plain clothes, and they averted such a big mishappening, and it is highly condemnable act, no doubt about it.
You're saying they averted a mishappening. Can I just say, can we play those images once again, please? And as viewers see this, you will realize that as Narayan Singh Chora takes out that 9mm pistol from his pant or his pajama, it actually gets stuck for a moment, which is potentially what gives that security personnel the time to react, and he goes and pounces on him. If the pistol had come out clean, he's also walking with trepidation initially because he's crossing water and doesn't want to slip. But if he'd walked faster, crossed it, and the pistol came out clean, the Punjab police would not have had time and this murder would have happened on your watch.
Okay, so now they did and they averted this mishappening. They should be therefore credited with it. Similar thing could not be prevented in Maharashtra with a politician who had vice security and he was murdered. So this has, when credit where it's due, why won't you admit that? See, why we question the Home Minister repeatedly and why we shouldn't, because Delhi is also a state where you see repeated murders every day, even if it's not a VIP who was attacked. Common men, to 3 people.
Let me pause you to put that question to Naresh Gujral of the Akali Dal. The point that the AAP makes, we stopped the assassination attempt. Yes, it's unfortunate. Our police was alert. We caught the assailant and pinned him down before he could do any real damage.
Rahul, if you look at the images from the TV cameras installed inside the Golden Temple,
yes,
this man was loitering around for almost 40 minutes. He was doing a recce. He was there yesterday, the day before also, and the day earlier also. For 3 days, he was going around doing a recce. He's a known criminal. If they had so much police around, did he not arouse any suspicion? Why was he not checked? Why was he not questioned? To say that it has been, the tragedy has been averted only because of the police, it's a joke. It was the gentleman who came to Sukhbir's rescue has been with their family since 2002. I commend him for his courage, the way he grappled with the gunmen, the way he risked his own life. But for Punjab police to claim credit, I think is absolutely a joke.
Why was he not nabbed? Priyanka Kakkar, here's a man with a very checkered track record. It's not as if he has the odd charge. He has very serious charges against him. He's also not an unrecognizable person. He's not like some Gurga who no one knows about. He's a well-known Khalistani. Why didn't someone just stop him if he's floating around there in this suspicious fashion?
Well, Rahul Kanwalji, you are well aware that in the Vaheguruji's Akal Takht, anybody, it's free for all. They are not frisked. Nobody is frisked there. You know that too. And perhaps there was an eye out on him and perhaps that was averted. Now, all these questions really, you don't expect a spokesperson to answer. These are only for the police to answer after a thorough probe. So, you'll have to wait whether if he was on a recce, like it was in Maharashtra, there was a recce.
Majitia was asking why was the superintendent of police shaking hands with him yesterday?
I have no idea whether the police, whether it was part of him appearing as a regular condition of his bail to meet the policeman. I have no idea. I cannot answer this. These are questions of investigation, matter of investigation. I have not seen that picture. I am taking it on face value. Even then, you can't expect a thorough answer from me. It is for the police to answer, and I'm sure our police is accountable. But today they must be applauded for the good work they have done. Why shouldn't they be?
Naresh Gujral, now that's also the reality as people come into the Golden Temple, and I'm sure you've been there multiple times. Nobody's really frisked, so it's not as if you stop everyone, frisk them for weapons or for kirpans. It's a free entry. I mean, you're entering the Lord's house. You don't get checked before you do that. You come with a clean and pure soul. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yep.
I agree with that entirely. But when a known criminal with such a long history is coming in, doing the recce for 3 days, surely if there are these hundreds or thousands of police people around, doesn't he arouse any suspicion? I mean, it's simple logic. Any alert police person would wonder, that's the police training. You stop somebody if you suspect that he could do something wrong, especially if he's a long history sheeter. He's been involved in every kind of crime in Punjab. He's a known face, and yet he's not questioned.
Okay, so you've heard the political voices, and I want to go to the security expert, Sushant Sareen. We can keep going back and forth in this political dance. No sense will emerge from that because there'll be a charge and a counter charge. Now, you understand the politics, society, and security of Punjab. Who do you think is at fault?
Everybody. I don't think there's anybody who's blameless. It's all very well to credit the police and thank God that Mr. Badal's life was saved. But I think it was just by accident that he got saved. For anybody to pat themselves on the back that they've managed to save this guy, I think that's a travesty, number one. Number two, it reminds me of something which happened in 1983. I think Pramodji would understand what I'm talking about. When DIG Atwal was shot outside the Golden Temple, and then the spiral of violence started. God forbid if something had happened to Mr. Badal today, I wonder what would have happened. But the fact also remains, Rahul, look, let's face it, we have seen some very unseemly scenes in the Golden Temple over the last so many years. There are openly, Mr. Gujral right now is saying that how do you know who has gone in, there's no frisking. There are all kinds of characters who've gone and demonstrated, raised, these radical slogans inside the Golden Temple and have been given complete impunity. Also, please remember that people who have committed murders and mass murders and suicide bombings and all kinds of other heinous crimes have advocates sitting inside the Golden Temple who want them to be released. They are called Bandi Singhs as though they did some great duty for the Sikh faith or for whatever else.
So do you think in your best estimate, and I know this is the matter of a full Punjab police probe, does Narayan Singh Chora seem to be appearing to act on his own, or is he part of a larger conspiracy? And if an assailant is to be sent, Why would they send a 70-year-old man who can't really whip out the 9mm properly and fast? Wouldn't they have sent a much younger attacker if it is actually a planned Khalistani conspiracy?
Rahul, there is nothing called a lone wolf. That's a work of fiction. There's always a network of sorts behind every so-called lone wolf attack. But many of the times that network wants to remain hidden, and they have this guy, a patsy, who goes and carries out. And the motivation could be anything. Maybe this fellow thinks that he hasn't achieved anything in life. He's been a failure. If he was to assassinate Mr. Badal, he'll suddenly become a Qaum the hero.
Now, how does he become a Qaum the hero by assassinating a former deputy CM?
Sorry?
How does he become a community hero if he assassinates a former deputy chief minister?
Last thing, Rajona can become a community hero, and you have people from the Akal Takht down, the Akalis to everybody else batting for him and asking for his release, then why not him? Why not any of the, there are so many of these characters who are in jails under very heinous charges, convicted, and people are demanding that they be released because they are some kind of, saviors of the faith. Now, if you have this kind of politics take place in Punjab, and this politics is then getting coupled with the kind of transnational criminal gangs which are operating in Punjab, how the entire music industry is being used for money laundering, how it's being used for propaganda, how drug running and human trafficking and gun running is taking place in Punjab, and there are very serious allegations that not just politicians but cops and the entire administration is partaking in it. And this has not been happening only because the Aam Aadmi Party is in government. It has been happening under the Congress government. It has been happening earlier. And what Pramodji said is a fringe element. I don't think it's a fringe element anymore. You see telltale signs of it all over Punjab. You see wall chalking, you see posters, you see stickers. You want to turn your eyes and you want to close your eyes and imagine that none of this is happening in Punjab? Please go ahead, do it.
Pramodji, what do you think happens next? This assassination bid has been foiled. In your understanding of the current state of play, where do things move to in the next phase?
I think that the kind of events which have happened during the last 3-4 days, I clearly see that Akali Dal is going to face a very major challenge to reclaim its support base amongst the non-Sikhs also, rather than merely confining to the Panthic domain. They have to do that, and which I think that it's an opportunity for them to do it. And the moment they go into that and moderate forces become stronger, the radical elements, I will just for the submission to Sreen Saab, radical forces can be, their space can be reduced. The moment the moderate forces become weak, the way Akali Dal has become weak, and also the Akal Takht has accused them of pardoning this Dera chief, which has provided additional justification to these elements to seek some kind of glory or martyrdom.
No, but that's the problem, Naresh Gujral. The idea that the Akalis will want to forgive the Dera chief Baba Ram Rahim is, to my mind, at the core of the crisis that the Akalis face in terms of their politics. Because you thought you could get those extra votes, you give this man a reprieve, and obviously then the clergy is upset, the Dalit voters get upset, and the Akalis are neither here nor there, and you have the vote share and the seat share of the Akali Dal on your screen right now along with the other parties. The biggest fall in vote share, the biggest fall in seat share in elections since 2002 has been that of the Akali Dal.
Well, look, you're talking of something that happened 8 years ago. I agree.
But you're apologizing it for now. You're apologizing it for. You're apologizing for it now, which is why I'm talking about it now.
That is because the Akal Takht took it up now and asked for an apology now. But what I'm trying to say is, the motive at that time was not. I agree with you. Yes, it fetches votes. Every party is doing it. BJP is doing it day in and day out. Every election, he is given parole. So it's not. Don't blame only the Akali Dal. Congress party. The Captain Amrinder Singh used to visit his dera every now and then. Maharani Patiala has been there every now and then. Every religious leader has been there. So Yes, there is politics behind that, I agree. But 8 years ago, when it was done, also the idea was reduce tension in Punjab, reduce the tension between his followers and the other people in Punjab. We thought maybe this would help in reducing the tension. But yes, I'm not denying that that would also have fetched us votes. But this is an 8-year-old episode.
Harmeet, it feels to me that Punjab sits on a tinderbox, right? That this is a very explosive situation. In your reading of the current state of play, what do you think happens next?
It's a challenge for the Shiromani Akali Dal to revive itself. Yes, the Akal Takht has ordered that the party overhaul itself in the next 6 months. A 7-member committee has been set up. But my worry is, where will you get the cadre from? The youth of Punjab is migrating overseas. In the past 20-25 years, politics has really become more toxic than it ever was. So where will you get the new cadre from? That's number one. Number two, the whole idea about giving a new lease of life to Shiromani Akali Dal by having a new leadership. There is one pertinent question here: will the old and tainted guard step aside in the first place? Is it going to happen? My submission here is that I don't see them stepping aside. I don't see a new cadre which is committed to original Akali values. When I say original Akali values, I mean to say that Akalis like Baba Khadak Singh, who fought for India's independence and were hailed by someone like Mahatma Gandhi. So do we have that breed in place to replace, to put new leaves of life into Shiromani Akali Dal? I think we don't have that. For the moment, these are good optics that we see, not the attack, but the overall penance that is taking place. But let's not risk, mistaking optics for substance. Okay. I see there's a long way to go for Akali Dal to revive this.
Well, as of now, the good thing is Sukhbir Badal is safe. The bad thing is Punjab is in a very explosive situation. I agree with Sushant Sareen when he says that, this whole sentiment is being fanned. It's a dangerous sentiment to be fanning. We've seen Punjab burn earlier. It's an expedient game that people play for their nefarious self-interest. It's also a very dangerous game to be playing. It's a game that all of us need to be mindful of. And neither the Aam Aadmi Party, nor the Akalis, nor the BJP, nor the Congress can say that they aren't doing politics over this. Everyone's in it for themselves, not necessarily for the people and the society of Punjab. We'll track this story closely. It's an important story. It's also a disturbing story.